So I'm back already with another Batman Returns toy review. Tonight it will be the Batmobile from Batman Returns toy collection. Now I'm filming this on Tuesday night, but tomorrow, Wednesday, February the 19th, we're going to get a big snowstorm here in Philadelphia. So every time it snows, it reminds me of this movie. Here in 1992, when this movie came out, my father bought me this toy. Now, I think there's two versions. I'm not sure. This is obviously like the deluxe superior version because of this special button. I'll show you what happens. You probably already know. And then I think there was another kind of more generic Batmobile for Batman Returns. So anyway, I remember my dad getting me this, which was a great purchase back then. And, you know, when I grew up, I lost it or my mom threw it away. So I bought this on eBay. And I did some customization to it, because to get one of these things like mint or like in box, you should see how much they're going for. So I got this for a pretty good price for $20 on eBay, but even that was about 10 years ago. So this is what it looked like on eBay when I bought it, meaning that it had no tail fins and no canopy. This figure didn't come with it. So it had no canopy, no tail fins, and that was still a pretty good price. So I'm really happy I got it, and I'll show you what I did to compensate for it and the modifications. First off, the tail fins would go into these two notches here, which I'm sure any kid who owned this back in the early 90s always lost. So I just kind of put a piece of cardboard up, traced it to match kind of the theme, and then I took that cardboard mock-up and made it's not perfect. You can see this is foam board painted black, but it does the trick. You can see how it fits in there like that. And the other one goes in here. Voila. So it's a good replacement for them. You wouldn't even notice far away. But up close, you might recognize that they're bogus. But not too shabby. And the canopy is history. So what I did is, I have a huge box of like G.I. Joe vehicle parts and stuff like that. And this is a canvas from one of them, a jet or a helicopter, I'm not sure. I had a box of so many parts back in the day. So I took my hacksaw, made some notches, and I put it on here. And look at this, even the line follows here, the line down the center of the Batmobile. You kind of lightly nestle it in, and it stays in place. See, once again, it's not stock, but I mean, looks pretty cool. It looks like something out of production for the movies they may have gone with. And the last custom modifications I did before I move on to the actual toy is, see these front indicators? They are actually I painted masking tape orange while it was still on the roll, so I didn't get overpaint. Cut it out, and it just breaks up the black color more and gives it a more realistic look. So I did the same trick with the masking tape, but I painted it red for the brake lights. And for the jet turbine exhaust, I painted it white. Now the reason I didn't paint it red is because it would look like another brake light. And if I painted it orange, it might look like a turn signal. So, I mean, I guess you could need to leave it black, but I put it white so it breaks up the color again. So getting on with the actual Kenner toy review now, you'll see the undercarriage of the Batmobile. And let me go over a few things here real quick. It's got a cool molding imprint here of a V8 engine, apparently. You can see the exhaust manifolds on each side, 4 cylinders per side. And oh, this is where that bomb would be that the Red Triangle gang set to blow up the Batmobile or sabotage it. $1992, made in Mexico. Gracias. On the front, you see the intake of the jet turbine engine, and the toy, the front end, well, the whole toy looks very realistic of the movie vehicle. This is also the part on the first movie where it drops off, like the bomb. The wheels are plastic, and the front ones actually have a little bit of play in them, or it actually looks like they're steering. Isn't that pretty cool? On the side here, you see that this is actually a jet engine valve, because if you hear the sound of this car in the movie, it's definitely a jet propelled vehicle. But in the commercial for this toy, they actually say turbo, which doesn't make sense. So check out that toy commercial too, by the way. It is awesome. Now the gag in the first movie was this compartment would open and it shot a grappling hook to make tighter corners. But in Batman Returns, this opens up and shoots like these giant hockey pucks that are projectiles to hit the criminal element of Gotham City. Moving along, you got some cool vents. And the rear wheels, which now the hubcaps are gold, and it might seem like in the movie they're black, but they are actually, if you look really close, they're actually gold inlay in the movie, but I think the hub is painted black. And that makes me think of something. There are so many like myths about this car in the production and behind the scenes. I have the Batmobile from the first movie toy and the animated series. I'll go over them one day. But this car is supposed to be built like on a Chevy Impala chassis and either be driven by like a GM V8 motor from either Chevrolet or Oldsmobile. But there is some dude on YouTube who actually has a jet-driven Batmobile. Okay, so now on to the first of the 2 functional parts of this toy, and that is the missile launchers. And there's these 2 little nubs here which are to lift it up because it's pretty flush without this, and you put the projectile in there. Now here's the real dud about this. I don't have the original missiles. And trust me, I tried. I was going through anything. Since this is Kenner, I went through my Space Marines from the Aliens toy line. They have some missiles. None of them worked. Then I tried all my spring-loaded G.I. Joe missiles. They didn't work. I even pulled this freaking thing apart to see how the mechanics of it worked. And still no conclusion. So, but I'll make it up on the next part, and the next part is the real grab of the Batmobile scene in Batman Returns. And that's a scene where Batman has to get away from the police, the Gotham City police, and go through a narrow alleyway. So he splits his Batmobile into 3 pieces. And here's some cool footage of that feature. Check it out. Now the mechanics behind it is you just press this button, and underneath it has 2 springs that just spring load and shoot the 2 sides out. Now if you've never seen that scene before, it's on YouTube, so check it out. Even the interior of the 2 side panels that come off have detail on it, so that's pretty cool. Looks like some kind of radiator there to keep the engine cool, and it has its own rear and front tire on each side. It's a really beautiful looking piece and well detailed. I hope I can dig up more information in the future of the production of this car, because it almost looks like a locomotive, like an early steam locomotive. If anybody can mod it, these are solid plastic, so if you have an RC car and could attach these, it would be perfect for drifting. It has a really good roll to it with this set of tires. And the funny thing is, in that scene, after he goes through the alleyway, he makes like a perfect, like almost like 70-degree turn. And in reality, this thing would just fall over completely and spin like a missile. But it like grips and shoots out. But that's what they call movie magic, baby. And for the last part, to conclude this video, let's go over the small interior. This is only a 1-seater when the Toy Biz version of the Batmobile is a 2-seater. Has a really cool padded leather theme to the seat, and the steering wheel is a very futuristic, almost like Knight Rider steering wheel. I don't know which way is up or down. Wow, that's tough. Maybe that, because of the thumb. So I'm gonna wrap up this video. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'll just go out by saying that the Keaton Batmobile is my favorite of all time. I guess it's just the generation I grew up in. One from Batman Returns. I mean, the fact that this toy actually does what it did in the movie is phenomenal to me. So have a good night.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.